Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Adam Wright, and today I'm going to share with you some of the tools that I expected a beginner mechanic to have in his tool arsenal before I considered them for hire at the garage that I was a service manager at. I'm also going to share with you some of the tools that I suggest a beginner mechanic add to their arsenal so that they can add value to themselves and to the garage that they work for, and hopefully make more money. So stay tuned, and we're going to go over a few things that you should have in your toolbox as a new guy. Okay, we're back at the bay cart here of mine, and one of the first things that a shop manager is going to expect you to have is basic hand tools. Personally, I didn't care if it was El Cheapos from Lowe's. I didn't care if you had the money to buy them off the candy truck that comes by the shop once a week. Just make sure you've got basic hand tools, obviously, or you're not very serious about wanting a job. One of the next things that I expected them to have was their own impact wrench so that they can take wheels off of cars without borrowing somebody else's. And you also want a large assortment of various impact sockets. These are just my large ones for axle sockets, and then my swivels. And of course you see a sledgehammer in there. Those are handy for brake work. That cutter is handy. That 1/2-inch ratchet is also handy, but that would be included, in my opinion, basic hand tools. And on to the next item you should have. I can tell you, if you're just starting out, you're going to be in the oil change bay more than likely if you're a brand new guy. So make sure you've got a good tire gauge because one of your jobs is going to be checking all the tire pressures and adjusting while you've got the oil draining. One of the last things I expected my guys to have was their own brake tools. You want a brake caliper spreader. Might want to get a double one as well, but this one seems to work well if you put a brake pad in there with it. And then this set here you can use for your different types of spin-in calipers on the rear brake calipers. Some of the newer vehicles, though, require you to have a scan tool in order to reset the calipers. So if you run into that issue, just talk to one of your senior technicians in the garage, and if they're a good guy like I am, they won't mind coming in and giving you a hand. Another thing that's handy to have, but I didn't really expect you to have, is a hose pick. You're probably going to be doing a lot of radiator flushes, things of that nature, and these little picks just help you get the hoses off without ripping and tearing and breaking things apart. Being a new guy, sometimes it can be costly, so just spend a few extra dollars and pick up a few tools that'll help you do your job better. Another thing I expected my guys to have was one of these battery terminal cleaners because the garage we were at, we were full service. It didn't matter if the senior technician was working on a car or if the oil change guy was working on a car. We checked everything out, and if the battery needed cleaned, we cleaned it. Now here's just a few things I'm going to share with you that's going to help you make your job a little faster. I've got a cordless impact here. As you can see, I picked mine up pretty cheap at the Sears hometown store. Honestly though, I don't even know if they're still open. An assortment of pry bars is also great to have in your toolbox. They come in really handy when you're working on brakes, chassis parts. This is one of my longer ones, but the shorter ones are also very, very handy. Back to the brake drawer. If you've got grumpy senior technicians like we did in our shop, they really hate being pulled off a job to help somebody else. So if you're a new guy doing brakes, how are you going to do that by yourself? I highly recommend picking up one of these inexpensive vacuum pumps. I got this one at Advance Auto Parts. A couple of different size magnets also help in the shop. When you're new, you're always dropping things. Even the seniors do too. But having a magnet helps you grab whatever you've dropped just a little bit faster, saving you time and putting you back on the job a lot quicker. It's also handy to have an inspection mirror, because sometimes you're going to have those customers that say, well, I think I saw this or I think I saw that coming from this area of the engine, and it's really hard to tell without taking things apart. But if you've got an inspection mirror, you can kind of reach down into the hard to find places and see if you can notice what they're trying to tell you. Another thing that's handy to have as a new technician is a lot of different sized pliers. These large channel locks come in really handy, especially doing chassis work. And then you've got various angled pliers, long pliers. 90-degree long pliers. Oh, and another thing you're gonna want, a serpentine belt tool, and all the bits. I've had this tool for about 15 years and it's not failed me now, and I just realized that I've got all these bits here still too. I should probably go ahead and grab my 10mm socket and hide it down in this little case. I'll have it forever. Something else that's great to have as a new technician is one of these little blowguns with a long nozzle. You're going to have customers come in complaining that they've got water draining down into their floorboard and they don't know why, and you're going to realize as the technician it's probably because their AC drain tube is clogged, and you're going to want one of these little gadgets so that you can blow up in that tube and get out the debris so that their drain can start draining again, and you're going to be a hero, and if you're not careful, you're also going to be covered in cold water. Something else I recommend for a new technician, somebody just getting started out, is an impact driver. Some of these newer cars come in and they have little screws on the brake rotors holding them on that they've put on from the factory, and they are hard as heck to get off, and you will very well strip them out trying to use a regular screwdriver. You can pick these up at Harbor Freight very, very inexpensively. That concludes today's portion of my video. I hope you all enjoyed what I've shared with you today. If you did, please hit the subscribe button and share it with your friends. I'll be posting more tool review videos soon. Thank you for watching.